Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Webpage audio, why is that a thing? Oh, I see, because I have my stream up, that's why. Ah, yes. There we go. Take your time. Who said that? Oh, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. At least some people understand. I don't know how loud I am. My last stream I was kind of quiet, so I turned my mic up all the way this time. So I might be peaking a bit, but that's fine because I'm Bread is Life, by the way. Hello, Bread is Life, by the way. How are you? So today I'm going to be working on a Shadowdark class. I know most of you have no idea what Shadowdark is because you don't play Shadowdark. You play D&D 5e. But Shadowdark is like D&D 5e with balls. Let's see here. Where did this go? I had a thing on screen for this, but it's not here now. Oh god, what happened to it? It's mangled. Why is it so small? I see. I have to fix this. This is what, whenever I start the stream and you don't see me right away, this is why. Because this stuff is never working right, so I have to fix it. Okay, let me see here. I'm gonna go ahead and move this like this. I don't want this to take up the whole screen on my end. So I'm gonna move it like that. I want to get the chat window in the middle so I can read what you guys are saying. Move this out like that. Just gonna move this over. Now I gotta find out what thing is what. There's that. Okay. Oh Lord, he coming. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay. This will be just, you know, it'll just be there. You see, I don't need this whole thing to be like that. We gotta move this up like that. Yep. Move that. Make it easier for me. Hopefully you guys can see that. White whale. I'm gonna be trying to make spells. I've never made a custom spell for Shadowdark before. So I'm going to be referencing the core rulebook spells for ideas. Let's see, how many of you are here right now? 3 of you? I should probably take this and take that out so whenever I click on this, it doesn't open up the stream twice. Okay, a whole 2 of you are here, so that's pretty based. Alright. Can you maybe turn up the music slightly down? Yes, I can. I think that's the music, right? Let me see if I can hear my own stream for a second. Ah, I see what's happening. Okay. 1 second. I have music that plays whenever I start the stream. There we go. Turn that off. So now, can you guys hear the synth music? That's what you're supposed to be hearing. Not the combat music. I have so many audio things, I don't know what is what on here. Audio input capture. It should have stopped playing the combat music. Wait a minute. You still hear the combat music? Hold on 1 second. This is why I don't start the stream right away, because this shit happens. Hold on. I have to listen to the stream. I see. Okay, yes. Wait a minute. Where is that coming from? Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. Why is there web page audio? Where does this come from? Media source. There it is. I see. I think I got it. I'm gonna delete that because I don't want that playing anymore. Now, how about now? Okay, I think it's stopped. I got it. See you fellas later. Can't even turn on the sound. Damn. He used to be my #1 viewer, and now he just never shows up anymore. Let's SMH my head. Okay, I want to make sure this is not too loud also, because I don't want this so loud that it's like drowning me out, but I still want it there in the background. So now let me check the stream again. I don't hear anything now. Why is that? Is it this? Let me see, hold on. Okay, it is working. I'm losing my mind. Okay. We're good. Okay, we're good. DM Dungeon Mastery struggles with his stream for 40 minutes. That's the whole stream, is me struggling with my stream settings. Okay. So, I'm working on a class for Shadowdark. What is this class, you may ask? Well, this class is, yeah, what's new? Peak content. Well, I am a professional streamer, as you know. I haven't uploaded a video in like 3 weeks. And the last video I uploaded was a trailer for something. So for this class, the entire idea of this class is it is a healer that damages themselves. Well, not necessarily just a healer, but it is a class that damages itself in order to heal other people, cast offensive spells or support spells. So they are... It's hard to say like the category of this class. It's a combat related class. We'll say that. So that's the pillar of play. So they're kind of a chaotic class. It's very reminiscent of a flagellant from the Vermintide game, that subclass, but with actual healing magic, inspired by Lords of the Fallen. So the first thing I'm looking at here is, let me see if I can shrink this even more and then move this over so you guys can see it. Ah, yes, of course. Okay, so Cure Wounds is what I'm looking at here for the idea. Yeah, they are indeed religious fanatics. I might end up even making a god that is specific to them, but I didn't want to shoehorn people too hard by doing that. Let me see if I can do this, because this is easier for me if I have this, like, we'll put this there. I'm moving my web pages around, and OBS uses the size of the web page as the size of the window for some reason also, which is kind of annoying. So I'm moving some stuff around really quickly. There we go. That's a little better. I might even zoom in a little bit like that. Okay. You know, we might get the stream started this time, sometime this century, but I gotta make sure everything's perfect. Yeah, so they don't have a ton of health like a fighter does, or a fighter or a sea wolf. I think sea wolves have a D10 hit die. They have the highest hit die in the game, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty nutty. Let me double check to confirm this. Oh no, Seawolves have a D8, so the highest hit die currently in Shadowdark is 1d8. So keeping that in mind, my character has D6 in hit points. I don't know what I just did. Okay. No, they got a D8. Wow, you're already going through all the books, are you? Oh no, you're looking at the stuff in the Discord. That's what you're doing. Yeah, so a D8 is like the high hit points. A D6 would be in the middle. A D4 is for like most of the spellcasters. That isn't the cleric. Like a badger on crack. Understandable. I'm sniffing all the rules. Yeah, if you download that quick start guide, that has a lot of the player rules in it. That'll pretty much teach you the game. I also have the full PDF, but I don't want to pirate it out to everybody and take money away from Kelsey. So yeah, I've been going back and forth with this class for a couple days now, trying to figure out what I want to do. The idea for some of this stuff is, like Darkest Dungeon's Flagellant class has an ability like this when he goes on Death's Door, which is dropping to 0 hit points. He heals the party, but not him. So that's where I got this idea from. It can only trigger 3 times a day, but I wanted to keep in mind that I am using this class so that you can build it as a damage dealer or a healer. So that's like kind of the goal here with the spells. So I'm going to be trying to make 6 spells per tier, which is going to take a long time. It's going to be quite a challenge trying to figure out how to do that. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit. It looks like it's cut off. Oh, it's not. Okay. So I'm going to switch the playlist here to my classic playlist that I always have, because it's less distracting, I feel like. Put this on. Please no ads. Oh, it's an ad, of course. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do this, because there's no other classes in Shadowdark that function this way. This will be the only class that functions by... My intention is every single spell that they cast deals damage to them. I don't know how I want to do it yet. Do I want to make it so that you can drop yourself to 0 and like actually go unconscious from casting spells, or if it can do damage to you until you get to 1 hit point and then it doesn't damage you anymore? But that's the general design philosophy around this. I want you to feel like a high risk, high reward class, so that you are really dancing on death's door at all times, but you're very strong if you can manage that properly. So I'm going to be trying to come up with some tier 1 spells. Don't know how well that's going to go. I got to come up with 6 of the first level spells. I don't even know what I'm going to start naming. Some sort of protection against damage, like what you mentioned, is probably for the best, especially because health is such a precious resource. Yeah, that'll definitely be a spell. I had an idea for a spell that whenever you take damage, you roll a d6, and on like a 6 or something, you instead regain hit points. Like you ignore the damage and regain hit points. But that should probably be a higher level spell. They cannot wear armor either, so you have to balance stuff very particularly in Shadowdark, because you don't want to outclass the fighter. The fighter is supposed to be the frontline class that can deal with just like everyday normal threats in melee. These guys also can't get ranged weapons as of right now. I just don't think it makes sense for them to be able to use crossbows, because they are supposed to be somewhat sewer slidal, and they want to get up into combat and they want to get dropped to 0. Yo, what's up, Say? Making damage somewhat chance related might be cool. Yeah, that can't be a thing for the class itself, just because of it's probably way too strong to do that. I did consider doing that in the beginning, though. I gotta turn this down a little bit. There we go. Good point. Yeah. There's a lot of other homebrew classes too that people have made that are pretty cool. Spellcasters are harder to make because it takes forever to make spells, but one of the cool things about Shadowdark is because the game is so simple, you know, you can make new classes pretty easily. I made this whole default blank layout that I'm using on Canva. Everything I'm making right now is being made on Canva. You know, it's a fun game though. It's become actually my favorite game. So the first spell that I think I need to make is a spell that heals others or yourself. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, so I guess that's what I'm going to figure out first. I want to come up with some evocative names for these. I'm also going to need to figure out the structure of spells as well. So let's start here. Start out by making a spell. Something like that. It'll be something that probably sounds cooler after I think of a word or a better name. I've been using a website that is basically I think it's a thesaurus is the word for it, but it is a website that has, yo, what's up, sock drawer? My boy Jonathan, how's it going? Making some spells here for Shadowdark for my class that I've been spamming you guys about. What was I doing? I need to look up I need to get on Word Hippo. That's my thesaurus. Word Hippo. Okay, there we go. We'll try our best not to use ChatGPT for as long as we can, but you know, ChatGPT is good for coming up with like synonymous meanings for things. All right, you got me for a half an hour before I start my stream. What's up, man? How you doing? Dungeon Lord J. Okay, so what's going on here? I'm making a class for Shadowdark, okay? This is going to be one of the core 4 classes in the game. The class is called a Penitent, and the idea is they are like these, I can't say this word on YouTube because it'll get demonetized, sewer slidle. This word right here. They're like religious fanatics, basically, and they damage themselves in order to channel their magic. So they're a combat class, but they don't wear armor, and they can't get ranged weapons as of right now. I mean, I could let them use a crossbow or something, but to me that just seems like it's not part of the class identity to me for some reason. But so man is about to get demonetized. I didn't say it. Molotov cocktails, Leviatar coded. Yeah, it's very, very similar to that. Very, very similar. Reminds me of necrotic magic. Leviatar is, I think that's like the perfect example. Although I'm going more grimdark with the idea, so this is more like a character that is aligned with the Holy Order of Aureus from Lords of the Fallen, and their holy magic and stuff is all like barbed wire into your flesh, and like you're casting this holy magic that is like also it's like golden and divine, but it's always like streaked with blood, so everything looks really really cool. It's like almost like very very like dark pseudo religious type thing. I mean, this kind of very much encapsulates like what I want the characters to kind of look like. They can come in different shapes and sizes too. They don't have to be like these like people that run up into melee. Hemomancy, sort of like that. It's a holy hemomancy though. What's up, Archivist? How's it going? So I'm changing some of like the core ways that the class plays is a little different. The challenge is going to be making it so that even though you do have low hit points and no armor, how you still feel useful and can still run into combat, because I have to take into consideration that if at level 1, when you make your character and you only have 1 hit point, can you still cast your spells without just immediately going unconscious? That's going to be the biggest challenge, because the game is balanced so that you roll 3d6 down the line for your stats, and you don't just put your ability scores wherever you want them in Shadowdark. But I let people do that because I figured most of my 5e players will cry and whine that they can't make the character that they want to make, so I let you put your stats where you want to put them. The first spell that I'm going to try to work on is going to be like Cure Wounds here, but it's got to be this, but instead of this, it has to damage you, so I have to figure out how to do that. Let them cry, I say. I think I want to start making people roll 3d6 down the line. Like, you can roll your stats first and then make a character after, or you could be an absolute Giga Chad and like roll your stats and then just play it where it lies. That's kind of how the game is supposed to be played anyways. I started off being super super easy on people, but I kind of want to start experiencing the game how it's supposed to be played too. So also let me talk about this ability right here. This is a pretty interesting ability because normally in Shadowdark you don't really make death saves, but when you're at 0 you have so many rounds until you die basically. So how it works is whenever it gets to your turn, you roll a d20. If you get a natural 20, you come back with 1 hit point, but you don't add any modifiers to that normally. What I did with the Penitent is you treat those rolls as constitution checks, so you can now add your con mod to it, and then Suffering Disciple will also give you advantage on that roll too. So now you can actually add your con mod to your what is essentially a death saving throw almost, but if you fail it, nothing bad happens. Add an NPC able to interact with Divine Weave through give and take. Full Metal Alchemist equivalent exchange. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. One thing I was thinking about, I do want health to be the resource, but I was also thinking that you could do like a spell burn-esque thing where you can spend points of your constitution instead of taking damage, but I don't know how I would do that yet, so this will be a tier 1 spell. I gotta zoom in for this, so this might break my layout here. Yeah, it's gonna break it, so I'm gonna move this over slightly. I'm gonna move this over slightly. Try not to cut your guys' words off. I might have to shrink chat a little bit, just a smidgen, to try to fit this in here. Or how about I just do this? We'll just do this for now. You guys can see that. So, kill something to heal something. Ah, that's cool. My idea is you have to, like, in order to cast your spell focus is your life force. So, like, you would have to, like, jab yourself with a dagger or something and, like, slice your palm in order to cast, like, a healing spell, which will damage you, but also I feel like I have a bit of an excuse to make this heal more than what this heals, because you have to spend hit points in order to do it. So That's an idea also. Blood Hunter-esque, sort of, yeah. I suppose it's sort of like that. Although, that's optional though, right? Do you have to do that every time you use an ability? I never played a Blood Hunter. I always thought they were cool though. Those are more like you're fulfilling the Witcher fantasy though. I always see that as Blood Hunter. Yes, that's optional. This is like, no, you have to spend hit points or you can't cast the spell. So that's like the challenge here. I have to figure out how to do that. Tier 1. Penitent. Duration. You slice into your flesh and channel the power of the barbed sun to heal others. This will probably be others or yourself, because I feel like you should be able to heal yourself this way. See, I don't know how to make this work so that you can cast this even when you're at like 1 hit point. Blood Hunters do Hemocraft, so you gotta spend HP to make your weapon magical. It's optional for their dark magic though. Oh, okay. I wish I could show you guys like some clips from like Lords of the Fallen gameplay where they like cast their like holy spells somehow. I might be able to find like a compilation of it or something. Words. Interact with luck tokens to substitute sacrificing health. Well, luck tokens aren't guaranteed either. That's the problem. It has to be consistent, but high risk every time. Here's kind of a clip of it. Let me see if I can play this without playing audio over top of... So like you could see, just look at the way this sword looks. This sword on his back is called Bloody Glory, and it's a gigantic ultra great sword that is completely wrapped in thorns. And it's like just a humongous hunk of iron with thorns on it, and he's like casting a literal beam of radiant energy. But you can see like as he pulls his hand up, there's like blood coming off of his hand. That's the idea behind it. I kind of want the spells to feel like that. So like every time you're casting this holy radiant magic, you are using your health basically, which is a interesting thing to try and balance. I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet. More like a paladin's healing pool with their own HP. So 1 HP is no dice, but 2 HP. I think somebody had suggested that like it can drop you to 1 but never below 1, and I think to counteract that what I can do is like it can drop you to 1, but if you fail to cast the spell it can kill you. I think that's how I need to do it, which if I did that I need to write that in up here. Spell tier. We'll just go with this for now, just to... Oh god, this is messed up. Gods damn it. Alright, we'll do this. You guys can see what I'm typing here. Alright, so I think what I'm gonna do, just to start off with an idea, I'm gonna say on a spell casting failure. So, hold on. So in Shadowdark, for those of you that don't know, is there exhaustion rules? There are no... I don't think there's exhaustion rules, no. But, like, spell casting works differently in Shadowdark, too. So you don't have spell slots. You can just cast your spell as many times as you want. Like, this is how spell casting works normally. So, you know, the spell... DC, like every spell has a DC to cast it, so the DC is 10 plus the tier of the spell, and spells go up to tier 5. So DC 15 would be the highest tier spell. Tier 1 is like DC 11. But how it works is you can cast those 100,000 times until you fail it. So if you fail to cast it, you cannot cast that spell specifically until you take a rest. So I think what I need to do is, on a spellcasting failure, that spell can't be cast again until you rest. Or on a spellcasting failure, you can be reduced to 0. And that spell can't be cast until you... Alright, let me just do that, because that's kind of... So you have to roll to cast spells. Doesn't... If you fail, doesn't cast again. Yes, and if you roll a natural 1, holy classes, like if you roll a nat 1, you have to pay penance before you can cast that spell again. So they should instead sack HP to reduce DCs instead of making it mandatory. No, see, I want it to be mandatory specifically, because I want it to be like you're channeling a specific form of holy magic, which is your blood and suffering, like very Lathander like. But I think what I need to do is make it so that... What's up, Zarek? How's it going? I just started. It's going back and forth to try to figure this out, how I want to make this mechanic. I think this is what we're going to do. So normally every single spell that you cast deals like a d4 like tier 1 might be a d4 damage, tier 2 might be 2d4, 3d4, 4d4, 5d4 or something. They can drop you to 1, but they can never drop you below 1 unless you fail to cast the spell, and then in that case, then you actually will fall unconscious. I think that's the only way I can think of to make this work how I want it to work. It's 10 plus the spells tier. Your spells can never reduce to 0. Well, hold on. I have to say, where do I want to put this? You can't be reduced to 0 HP from casting a spell unless you fail. I think maybe that's where I want to put that, although this is a bit weird and awkward. On a spellcasting failure, that spell cannot be cast again until you complete a rest. Why don't you make penitence the cost of being at 1 HP and attempting your spells? Okay, let me show you an example really quick that might help explain like what I'm talking about. So let me show you this. Let me see if I can move this here. So this is a legitimate Shadowdark class called the Seer. And if you roll a nat 1 on one of your spell casting checks, you cannot cast that spell again until you complete one of these penances. So it tells you right here the spell tier 1 to 5, and they get increasingly worse the higher, like, so if you fail to cast a 9th level or a 5th level spell, you have to sacrifice 9 humanoid lives in order to cast that spell again, which is pretty brutal. But that's sort of how it works for like this class too. So if you roll a nat 1, you're gonna have to do stuff like this, like temporarily give up 1d4 HP. You stay at 1 HP minimum. It returns in a week. I might have to do like this for all the spells. You stay at 1 HP minimum unless you fail. I think that's how I want to do it. And then because of that, I have an excuse to make all of these spells like really strong. Stronger than normal. I mean, obviously I don't want to make them OP, but that's like it's a pretty sick system. Wizards are a little different. If wizards roll a nat 1, they actually have a mishap. And like you can open up a literal black hole that continues to grow if you're a wizard and you fail to cast a spell. That's why I love spell casting in this game. They're gonna have to pay a steeper price. Yeah, and that only happens, like this only happens if you roll a nat 1. So if you fail to cast normally, you just can't cast that spell until you rest. But if you roll a nat 1, this is what happens to you, stuff like this. So Seer Penance, I think, is really what I want to go for, because this is... I'm going to make a penance table the same way here. I just have to reflavor stuff like this to make it seem kind of like you have to flagellate yourself in a room for a week with a whip or something in order to cast that spell again. And like your HP max is reduced by 1d4 until you heal or something. That would be like the idea. So like I gotta go with a very... Alright, let me go back to here. Let me move this over on stream so you guys can see this. I'm just gonna... Can I zoom in? Make this bigger. So this is the spell that we're gonna try to make, but we're gonna make this into a penitent spell. Right, but you could make the penance the price of being on 1 HP and still casting spells. High risk, high reward. It's spamming emojis. Omega Law. You could make the penance the price of being on 1 HP and still casting spells. I don't understand what you mean by that. I don't think my brain's processing what you mean. The penance table only triggers when you roll a nat 1. I don't know who I'm going band for band with the emojis, but I salute you, soldier. Let me try to make this spell real quick first. Let me see. Okay, range. What is the shadow? Alright, so close. We'll do that. Do range close. Oops, I put duration. Let's not really want that. I had to put the description at the bottom. Duration instant. Okay. So let's see here. Your touch restores ebbing life. I'm gonna say your blood. Your suffering. This is going to be hard, coming up with Kelsey-like descriptions for stuff, because I'm not... It takes me a long time. Like, usually I'll spend like hours on stuff like this trying to figure out how to make stuff sound cool. Your suffering imbues the gift of life. I might have to put something... I don't know if I want to put just every tier costs and just a flat amount of HP, or if I want to do... So like normally their spells cost their HP. I was under the impression that the issue was how can they cast spells while at 1 HP. I was thinking that penance table could serve both as the natural 1 thing and if you don't have HP to spend. Oh, I see. Yeah, that you could do that, I guess, but I feel like that's because it's like super easy, because like you could roll up a character and just be at 1 hit point. Maybe HP equal to the tier plus 1. Oh, that's a good idea. I kind of wanted it to be more random though. Like it's a D4. It's like a D4 plus the tier maybe. Because when you get to like 10th level, you're going to have a lot of HP in theory. Because you'd have like if... What's the average of a D6 times 10? Somebody's good at math. I need the average of this times 10. It would be 30, wouldn't it? I don't know what the average of a D6 roll is. 8. That's not true. If you make it to 10th level, you mean? Yeah, if. Yeah, so I guess at 10th level you could have 30 hit points. The tier 5 would cost you 6 HP to cast a spell. Does that sound okay? I was thinking about doing a flat amount, but I feel like it's not as risky when you know, okay, I'm only going to take 2 damage from this. I feel like it's more risky if it's like, okay, I might take up to 4 damage from casting this spell, because I feel like that's more fun to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm insane. I might have to make an entire page that says how spellcasting works here. Like in the base book for Wizard, there's like an entire page that talks about how to cast their spells. It might not be as nuanced. Your suffering reconstitutes. The wounds of others. 5, 6th level spells, 5th level spells, because it only goes up to 5th level. I don't know. I mean, I don't know about SD, but when calcing dice averages, it's always 1 above the center number. 6 equals 4. Okay, yeah. So you can't take average health in Shadowdark, but I was just trying to think of like mathematically how would I figure out how much health you had it, because you don't add your con mod to your health past 1st level. So if you rolled a penitent with like a -4 in con, which would be terrible, I don't think you subtract. Do you subtract your con mod when you roll your hit points at level 1? I can't remember. I haven't made a character in Shadowdark. I've only ever made like 1, and that was for Jonathan's game. Your suffering reconstitutes the wound. So you do subtract it? Okay, so if you had like a -4 in con at level 1, and then you made, you rolled a d6, so you could be screwed. Okay, wait a minute. Let me look at how this is worded. You stay at 1 HP minimum. Alright, I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna put that in here just because I want to. This is just going to take up a lot of space if I have to type this out for every spell, though. What a GM. Played once and tortures the players on the reg. Shadowdark is all about torturing your players on the reg. You deal 1d4 damage to yourself. Alright, let me just move these down out of my way. I still don't know. This is also still just put that there, put that there. This is still just a test run because I don't know how to do this yet. How I'm going to do this. Anthony gave my character a leech heart. You gave your character a leech heart because you rolled a 100. If you don't want to put it in every spell, you can make it a class feature. This part right here should probably be the class feature. The damage, I kind of want the damage to vary based on how powerful the spell is. Okay, hold on. Let's count as con checks. They deal damage to you. And the DC is 10 plus the spell's tier. You can't be reduced to 0 HP from casting a spell unless you fail. Now this is also screwing everything else up. What's the software I'm using this? This is Canva, canva.com. It's a free website. You can use it yourself too. You just have to kind of get used to using it. And then shit. I'm running out of space. I have to say this in less words. Cast penitent spells you know. Let me just take this out because I think that's kind of obvious. I'm gonna say, oh my goodness, no. Z. I'm trying to copy the language that the game uses normally, so maybe I'm just gonna reduce the space up here that uses. There we go. It doesn't look as clean, but okay. Penitent spellcasting checks count as con checks. They deal damage to you, and the DC is 10 plus the spell's tier. You can't be reduced to 0 HP from casting a spell unless you fail. Maybe I should say this. Maybe we should put that. I feel like that should be under spellcasting failure. Count as con checks. They deal damage. This damage cannot reduce you to less than 1 HP. Con checks. Let me see. They deal damage. This damage cannot reduce you to. They deal damage to you, comma, this damage. Whoops. Wait a minute. They deal damage to you, comma, this damage cannot reduce you to. I could say it. It's probably less words to say 2-0. New paragraph, the DC. The DC. It's gonna bring me down again. Tier. Okay, on a spellcasting failure, that spell cannot be completed again until you complete a long rest, and it can reduce you to 0. Now I have to somehow take something else out. This is in like every spellcaster description. It usually says you can cast your class's spells that you know. I think. Let me look at the wizard. Where is the wizard? Can I duplicate this tab? Yes. 1 second. Now I gotta look at the wizard. You guys aren't gonna be able to tell what I'm looking at. Oh, where are you, wizard? Classes, wizard. So wizard says, yes, you can cast wizard spells that you know. Yeah. They also have a thing here that brings you to a whole nother page for wizard. So I might end up having to do that. I might just have to make another page that explains everything. Since this is a very unique way that a class casts spells, so I'm probably just going to have to make a new page. Let me do this. What does it actually look like? Page 44. Holy shnikes. Hold on 1 second. I gotta go to page 44 now. Because I gotta try to mimic the language. That's very important. You don't want your stuff to look unprofessional. Okay. This is just telling me the basic rules of spellcasting, I think. So we're gonna go like this. Casting. Let me make sure I spell it right. Penitent spells. I'm gonna reduce those font size slightly. There we go. Let's delete all this stuff. Let me delete all that. delete all that. Alright, so now here I need to take out all the stuff that I don't want in here. I think maybe I just do spellcasting. You can cast penitent spells. Now I forget what the wizard spells said. Hold on, now I gotta look. I have to duplicate the tab again because I need to make sure that when I type this out, I'm giving the relevant information, but not more information than is needed before referring you to this next page. Okay, so you can cast wizard spells. You know 3 tier 1 spells each time you gain a new level. Okay, so that's how we'll do it then. We'll do that. So you can cast penitent spells, you know 2. Bro, when I design shit, I have like 100 reference tabs open. I know the struggle. Yeah, I'm a perfectionist. I really want my things to look good. Like, that's like, I'm obsessed with making stuff look good. 2 tier 1 spells of your choice from the spell list. I can't spell my own class name right. I picked the worst name. And then we'll do C page blank because I don't know what page it'll start on when I'm done typing all this stuff out. And then we say for casting 10 spells, see next page. Same, but I could be making, one second, now I can spread this out so I have more real estate. I might even be able to take this and move this over here. No, please, not the ads. I've had enough ads, YouTube. Come on now. Guys, I don't want to pay for YouTube Premium. I don't want to pay for something that should literally be free to begin with. It's so irritating. Okay, there we go. Reset that. Put that back to where it was. Okay. I could be making a homebrew monster that no one will see but myself and I still make it sound official AF. Yeah, I think for me, like, if I was making this class on like a Google Doc, I would not be able to focus as much because it doesn't look nice. Like, if it looks nice, I feel like I focus more. I don't know why. It's just a weird... It must be something like ADHD or something like that. Okay, so this is a lot more clean. And now we go to this page where now we explain how casting spells works. People probably might be a little bit miffed by this, but I think it's important. Alright, baby boy, I gotta get to streaming. Alright, Dungeon Lord J, good luck. I'll be here streaming myself. We'll see how many spells I get made in a couple hour time period. I'll give you some 100 emojis on the way out. And some flirty emojis. Okay, so now I gotta start wording this here. Okay, so penitent magic is channeled through their own pain and suffering. When you cast a spell, penitent spell, God damn it. There we go. Alright, can you guys see all this stuff fine? I guess technically this is like what you're looking at. Magic is more akin to miracles and channeled through their own pain and suffering. When you cast a penitent spell, it deals damage to you. I'll say thus when you cast a penitent spell. Thus when you cast, it always deals damage to you. And now I just need to do something as a placeholder for a second, so I need to open up Discord, and I need to also look at something else. Where did my original wording for this go? Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna cover up chat for a second because I just want to word this. Okay. Penitent spell casting checks count. Actually, here, let me just put this on the other side, I suppose. This is interesting. This is interesting. Okay, penitent spellcasting checks count as con checks and benefit. I can actually go more into detail here. Benefit from the suffering disciple trait. I'm going to bold this. Going to check chat. Okay, everybody's dead. Okay, so they count as con checks and benefit from the suffering disciple trait. Period. New paragraph. Move this here. So let me see. Deals damage to you. The DC is 10 plus spells tier. Actually, this would probably be up here. The DC is 10 plus spells tier. Then we go on a spell casting failure. That I need to put somewhere up here that it can't reduce you below 1 spells tier. Tent spell casting cannot reduce you below 1 HP unless you fail the spell casting check. I guess that's where I put that, although I want to put that down here, but I can't think of a way to reword it so that it makes sense. So we're just going to leave it like that for now. Okay, on a spellcasting failure, you we'll say that spell can't be cast again until you complete a rest on a natural 1. I'm just going to pull that as well. A spell can't be cast again until you complete a penitent penance. I'm half tempted to also make critical failure rolls as they also deal double damage to you. On a natural 1, that spell's damage towards you is doubled, and and spell also can't be cast again until you complete a penitent penance. And now we just have a shit ton of blank space because I don't know what else to put here. I guess I would put artwork here if I had it. I think I might have an AI art piece to just throw in there for the time being. Even though this doesn't look very good, but... something like that, okay. Cannot reduce you below 1 HP. Unless you fail the spellcasting check. I think that works for now, just until I can figure out a more cohesive system here. Okay, so move chat back over here. We're going to go back to here. Okay, we're going to scroll down here. Maybe I should just do HP cost. Do like HP cost 1d4. Although Jonathan's idea of 1 plus the spell tier would be a good idea too. If this proves to be too much, I don't think it will be though, just because you can... It won't bring you to 0 as long as you don't fail the cast. HP cost 1d4. And then we do... How do I want to make this work? Oops, gotta fix this. There we go. Okay, so if Cure Wounds works like this, and this does not cost HP, in theory, I could make this heal like a D8? This is going to be a stream of me sitting here just trying to think about what I should do for this whole thing. Your suffering reconstitutes the wounds of others. It's so much better when you have the concept in your brain. And then when you try to put it on paper, it's so much harder. We're gonna say restore restore 1d8 plus half your level rounded down to one target you touch. Or what if I just actually make it ranged? Close. What do I do? Near. target within range. How does the healing potion work? That's what I'll look at. Let me see here. Healing potion. Magic items. Here we go. Potion of healing. I believe it's... Okay, it's 1d6, 2d8, 3d10, 4d12. You guys can't see it because it's on this side. Restore 1d8. I don't want to like outclass the priest either, but I also think that these spells should heal more because you are spending hit points. So I'm almost thinking maybe I should make it work like that. If you're 0 to 3, it's this. If you're 4 to 6, it's this. If you're 7 to 9, it's this. Or I could just also make it a flat amount. So it's like just more consistent, maybe. What does chat think about this? Quite the conundrum I am in. Quite the conundrum. It is not easy to come up with this stuff. Fish. You guys think it should just stay like this? Like, this is fine? One target within a range. I was thinking either it works like this or it works like the healing potion. Although I'm not... It should definitely heal more than cure wounds, in my opinion. Just because you're spending hit points. And this is also ranged, so I think maybe that's fine for a tier 1 spell. You could technically heal yourself with this too, I guess. Your suffering reconstitutes the wounds. That's right, I did have the... Where's Word Hippo? Okay, Word Hippo, help me here. Heals. Let's at other words for healing. Your suffering reconstitutes body. Looks like another thing for body. Health. Vigor. What is vigor? Energy, liveliness, quality or state of being in good health. It constitutes one's vigor, maybe. Your suffering reconstitutes one's vigor. that should be... That sounds okay to me. Maybe you should make it so that they can't self-heal. It would define the theme of the class. I do want a way for them to be able to heal themselves, but maybe I should do it... And like, you have to do it offensively rather than... one target. We'll just do one target out there. Well, actually, no, because I think this could still work, because when you roll to cast this spell, if you fail, you're going to do a d4 plus 1 damage to yourself first, and then if you damage yourself, you can go down, and then I would see it as like the spell doesn't go through. Maybe I should write that in up here. Actually, let's do that. Let's go. Cannot reduce you below 1 HP unless you fail the spellcasting check. If you fail, I'll say, if the HP cost of your spell reduces you to 0, the spell fails to cast. Maybe that'll be okay for balance reasons. Mayhaps. Okay, so that's the first spell. I think this is good. Restore 1d8 plus half your level rounded down to one target within range. Okay. There's the first spell. Now I think we should do a damage spell. If I can't think of more than like 4 spells per tier, I might end up reducing the amount of spells that the class has down to 4 per tier, like the seer has. Because that might make it easier to make spells also. And it won't feel as bloaty. I could just make the spells scale too, so that like each spell is like good at all levels of play no matter what. But like not how Caleb would do it. Whoops. Caleb's the case study on how not to make stuff for spellcasters. Take suffering. Castigate. Let's call it castigate. Okay, we're gonna go to tier 1. I'm gonna copy this actually. Control C, so I don't have to keep typing this out. Duration, instant, range, close, description. You will say maybe like you tear your flesh. I kind of want it to be like spectral, like golden spectral thorns, like wrap around a creature and it deals damage to them. Maybe you tear your flesh open to summon spectral holy thorns. I'll probably reword these so they sound more like how Kelsey would write it later. You tear your flesh. You tear your flesh to summon spectral holy thorns. +1. I need to look at some wizard spells now. Wizard spells. Tier 1. Actually, what's like a Burning Hands? It's like the only thing we have, which kind of is annoying because creatures within the area take 1d6. Let me look at maybe the Seer spells. What do we got going on here? Sacrifice. Wow. Oh man. Maybe the Witch? Does the Witch have like any... Tier 1 damage spells? I'm thinking I'm gonna make this do like a D10. One creature you target takes 1d4 damage. Here we go. Something like this. Let's say one creature you can see takes 1d10 damage. It would be cool if I could... I might do like a spell that like marks something too for allies. All of these spells, in my eyes, all of these spells have to be impactful because you are spending hit points to cast them. So they all have to like land with an oomph. Otherwise it's going to feel really bad to play this class. And like all you're doing is just dropping yourself to 1 hit point at all times. I'm actually gonna... What does castigate mean? Am I using this in the right context? To criticize or reprimand someone severely. To punish or penalize someone. Lacerate yourself and conjure a mesh of holy thorns around a target you can see. Some spells have evocative descriptions and other ones just tell you how much damage they do, but I kind of think the evocative descriptions is like one of the biggest things because it kind of tells you like what's happening. Target you can see. We're going to say it takes 1d10 damage. this needs a rider effect or not. Scheisse. Scheisse, scheisse, scheisse. Let me see here. Let me just see something. Where's me? Acid arrow. You conjure a corrosive bolt that hits one foe, dealing 1d6 damage. A round, the bolt remains in the target for as long as you focus. And that's a tier 2 spell. What if I do 1d8 damage? I'll make this a focus spell. One creature you can see takes 1d8 damage. Whoops, let me zoom out. I also just realized you guys can't see what I'm doing, so let me scroll that over a little bit. There we go. One creature you can see takes 1d8 damage and can only move sluggishly. Say it takes 1d8 damage. The mesh remains for as long as you focus if the creature or if the target moves. This one. What do we have going on in here? I'm trying to make spells for the class that I'm making. It's quite difficult. I'm trying to figure out how I want to word things and how I want to balance things. That's the word I'm trying to think of. Okay, wait a minute. Maybe I should... It's covered in a mesh of holy thorns, so maybe... I'm just gonna say you conjure a mesh of holy thorns around the target you can see. I'm gonna make this near also. Near. You conjure a mesh of holy thorns around a target you can see. Some of these have a description in the beginning, like my spell does, and some of them don't. So that's quite concerning. I don't think maybe you guys need to even see that. Let me minimize that. I'm just gonna move this here. Hey, what happened to my background? Scheisse. What the hell? What did I do? I broke my background. I don't know what happened. 1 second. Let me look at something for my waiting room. That works. Why is my background not working? That's not what I want. Huh. Very weird. Let me see something real quick. Copy screen cap. I don't know what happened. There we go. That's supposed to be there. Why is it not moving down? Move this down, move this down, move this down. We gotta go to properties, loop. Okay, yep. Good. I don't know what I did. I guess I deleted the background somehow. Ah ha ha ha, welcome to the club. You feel my pain now, brother. Yeah. This is the first time I'm doing this, so it's gonna take some getting used to. I'm trying to structure the spells how they are structured in Shadowdark, so that's one of the hardest parts so far that I'm seeing. Is some spells have a flavor description first and then it tells you what happens. Some of them, the flavor description is part of what happens in the spell. I need to always start off with how much HP that the spell costs to cast. Maybe. Okay, maybe we'll do that actually. Let me go. HP cost 1d4 plus 1. You conjure a mesh of holy thorns around a target you can see. And then we'll say the mesh remains attached to the target for as long as you focus. I'm gonna have to move this down because this is in the way. I'm just gonna move this all the way down to the bottom. The mesh remains attached to the target for as long as you focus. Let's see. 1d4 damage. As long as you focus. If the target I was gonna say if the target moves or takes any action that is very exertion, like they take the damage again. But I don't know if that's too strong for a level 1 spell. It might be. That's probably too strong, but I'll put it on here. Just the if the target moves or attacks, they take the damage again. Make this so that it's not triggering multiple times because it's too strong in a game with like creatures having a d4 hit points. Oh, but it also has to be worth casting, so as long as you focus, the target can only move or attack. Say target can only move or attack. If it does both, it takes the damage again. We're gonna do that. It's gonna also deal 1d6 damage around. Where's its location based? It's like a net. It's like a mesh of thorns that surrounds the creature. I wanted it to deal 1d8 damage, but that's like, I feel like that's too strong. The problem is I have to make these do enough damage so that it's like, why would I ever cast this if I'm going to take damage for it? It has to be worth it. If not, I can just make this a higher level spell. This feels like it should be a tier 2 spell, but I want it to be a tier 1 spell. Not sure, we'll come back to that one. Now I need like a support spell here. Let me start doing something real quick. Very quickly. Okay, let me do take suffering for the first spell. That spell will definitely remain there. Castigate. Almost maybe what I should do is make this so that if the target takes damage, it takes an additional blank damage so that it's still a support spell. Let me try that actually. The mesh remains attached to the target for as long as you focus. If the target is hit by a melee or say it's hit by a non-spell. I'm gonna tap out, brother. Have fun with this, and I'll talk to you the next time we play. Alright, Tank Master. Goodbye. Goodbye forever. My music stopped. It's too quiet. There we go. Dealing 1d. Okay, I have an idea. Okay, so it deals 1d8 damage around. The mesh remains attached to the target for as long as you focus. If the target is hit by an attack, it takes an additional 1 point of damage. God damn it, I didn't mean to do that. I just added that to my dictionary. Fuck me. I do that every time. Settings. So now that misspelled spell is in my opera dictionary. Spell check. Customize spell check. Where is that? Additional. I think I spelled that wrong. What was it? Was it additional? Did I do that? Am I going crazy? There it is. Yeah, that's not spelled right. Okay. Additional. There we go. Holy shnikes. I'm losing it. Okay. So you deal a d4 damage to yourself. Conjure a mesh of holy thorns around a target. You can see it deals 1d8 damage around. I don't know if it should deal 1d8 damage around. I feel like it might have to do a d6. Dealing 1d6 damage around. The mesh remains attached to the target as long as you focus. If the target is hit by an attack, it takes an additional 1 point of damage. As the driven inwards. Maybe something like that. Let me see. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. God damn it. Alright, let me just see if this can be shorthanded any more by ChatGPT, just because I don't want to this be optimized wording-wise, but still kept evocative. The intention of reducing word count. I also feel like I need to have like how you're hurting yourself too, because I feel like that's important for this. It's like it describes how you you rip flesh off of yourself to then conjure a mesh of holy thorns around something. Say you lacerate your flesh and conjure a mesh of holy thorns around a target. You can see dealing 1d6 damage around. We're going to actually say this is going to be around a... What are some things in the game that mention size? Caleb, you've been making spells. Are there any other spells that mention size so I can figure out how to word this? So I can say this only works on like human-sized targets. You lacerate your flesh, conjure a mesh of thorns around a target you can see. Which attach to the target. Up to human-sized targets for as long as you focus. The target is hit by an attack and it takes additional 1 point of damage as the thorns are driven inwards. I could probably just say it takes an additional 1 point of damage. Something like this. Something like this. Of only thorns. That's a new website I'm making. Of holy thorns around the target. Okay, you lacerate your flesh to conjure a holy flesh mesh. You lacerate, I'm just gonna say you lacerate yourself and conjure a mesh of holy thorns. Conjure a, what if I say conjure a holy mesh of thorns. Around a target you can see, dealing 1d8 damage around. I think this is good. I think this is okay because it only continues to deal the damage. Oh wait, I have to probably mention that up here. You lacerate yourself and conjure a mesh of holy thorns around a target you can see, dealing 1d8 damage. We're saying dealing 1d8 damage. The mesh remains attached to the target for up to human-sized targets for as long as you focus. If the target is hit by an attack, it takes an additional 1d8 damage. I think that's good. Because that kind of makes it it would be cool to say that like this kind of messes with its movement, but it's a human size. Focus. If the target is hit by an attack. I really want to say if it uses its action to attack also. So like if it makes any sort of sudden movements, the thorns are stabbing at it, so it like takes damage. Let me see if this can be short-handed at all without making it sound kind of dumb. Let's say if it also... Let's also say if it makes any sort of intense movement, it also takes 1 point of damage. I'm just seeing how I could reword this in a way that it will fit on here completely, because its size is important, or space that you're taking up is important. Why does this keep getting screwed up? There we go. Okay, so you lacerate yourself. This should probably be bolded. You lacerate yourself and conjure a holy mesh of thorns around a visible target, up to human-sized, dealing 1d8 damage. While you focus, the mesh clings. If the target moves or is struck, it suffers 1 damage. That might be good to say that. Okay, while you focus... No, I don't want that. Never mind, hold on. It does damage regardless, but if the creature is human-sized, it remains attached. Okay, let me see. You lacerate yourself and conjure a holy mesh of thorns around a visible target, dealing 1d8 damage. The mesh remains if the target is human-sized or smaller. While you focus, it clings. Let me see if I can reword this so that this sounds better. Okay. You lacerate yourself and conjure a mesh of holy thorns around a visible target, dealing 1d8 damage. The mesh remains if the target is human-sized or smaller while you focus. The mesh remains. If the target moves or is struck, it takes 1 damage. Okay, I think that's good. Now for this, I want to also redo this. Put this first. Take that out. Do that. Restore 1d8 plus half your level rounded down to 1 target within range. It would be interesting to get more crunchy and say like the spell does this, but then if you spend hit points, it does this. But I don't want to do that because then that'll remove like the whole point of the class. Like it cannot cast a spell unless it's damaging itself. Restore 1d8 plus half your level rounded down to 1 target within range. I think what I want to do here also is see if this can be optimized at all. God damn it, dude. I think it's okay. We'll leave that there. Now I gotta think of a support spell. This is kind of a support spell here. Let's see here. Let's look at some cleric spells. Shield of Faith, a protective force. Wrought of your holy conviction surrounds you. You gain +2 bonus to your armor class for the duration. I don't think that fits this. Let me look at Darkest Dungeon abilities. A good artist copies, a great artist steals, as they say. So I'm gonna do that, actually. So let me open up Darkest Dungeon Flagellant. I'm gonna look at some of his abilities and just see if I can get any ideas. Punish, Reign of Sorrow, Exsanguinate. What does that word mean? I really like that. Drain a person of blood. Ooh. Redeem, reclaim, endure, suffer. Tis an interesting character for sure. You search the interwebs for lots of inspiration, lots of homebrew stuff on Pinterest. Yeah, that's usually what I do too. I want to make sure like the theme feels very consistent with this character, so I'm gonna also look up Lords of the Fallen Radiant spells. Aura of Tenacity, Barbed Aura. Okay, that's cool. I think I might try to do something like that, actually. We're gonna do... Aura Barbs. Duration. This could be a focus spell. My monitor just shut off for a second. Duration, focus, range, self, description, HP cost. HP cost, we're just gonna do one. We'll just do 2 for this. Just a flat amount. Okay, you summon you surround yourself in double-sided barbs that pierce your flesh and those who strike you. You surround yourself in double-sided barbs that pierce your flesh and those who strike you. We're gonna say what are we gonna say? I don't know. I think we gotta say something like do I need to say? How much damage do I want this to do to things that hit you is the question. Maybe just 1 damage? Just a 1 guaranteed damage for a tier 1? Those who strike you. I could do it that you take an additional 1 damage from everything, but deal 1d4 damage to anything that hits you in melee. That, I don't know if that's worth the amount of damage that you're taking though. HP cost 2. You take an additional 1 damage from all attacks, but deal 1d4 to anything that hits, strikes you in melee range. Let's see, can that be optimized? Let me see really quick, I just want to double check. Can this be optimized? You wreathe yourself in double-edged barbs. I like that wording a lot better. In double-edged barbs that pierce your flesh. You take an additional +1 damage from all attacks, but deal a creature that strikes you in melee. Would you quit? I'm busy right now. I'm streaming. I'm streaming. He's getting mad at me. You take +1 damage from all attacks, but attacks. Creatures that strike you in melee. Or how about creatures that damage you in close range? Take 1d4 damage. I believe close is things that are like within 5 feet, right? Are temp HP a thing? No, temp HP is not a thing. Oh, hi, doggy. Yeah, it's Jack. He's quite a rambunctious dog sometimes. I think this is good. You're only taking 2 damage from this, so like you're gonna probably cast this a lot. I mean, it's very high risk, high reward. You take +1 damage from all attacks. Creatures that damage you in close range take 1d4 damage. I think that's good. I think that actually is pretty cool. It doesn't deal that much damage to you. It's only 2 damage. Maybe I should just make this cost 1. I want to say HP cost 1, because that way it kind of fits in with like you're taking a damage up front, and then you take 1 extra damage from everything. Want to make it a thing? What, temp HP? I don't know. Is the game balanced for temporary HP? I mean, I don't like adding mechanics that kind of like make the game more obtuse, personally. I'll Also, I don't like how this is worded. I know people are gonna mauled out that I'm using ChatGPT to help me reword stuff, but it's still me using my own wording for this. Your suffering restores another strength. Heal one target within range for 1d8. Through pain, you grant renewal. Restore 1d8 plus half your level rounded down HP to a creature within range. That might actually be a little better. Let me see. Restore 1d8 plus half your level rounded down HP to a creature within range. That's fun. Aura of Barbs. I don't know if I should, just for simplicity's sake, make everything cost a different amount of HP, or just make everything cost the same HP. Or maybe I just take this off and I just say a D4. Sock's idea was also good too. That seems more Shadowdark, to just make it... Personally, I think you could pump that puppy up to a D6. What, for this? For Aura of Barbs? I mean, I probably could. Yeah, maybe we'll do it just to see. I feel like doing it is like, I do it and I can imagine people were fucking mauling at that choice. Like, people are gonna go, no, it's too OP, you can't, you're gonna just walk into a group of goblins and kill all of them by them hitting you. But then again, you're taking all that damage too, so maybe it is fine. I think that's a good idea. We'll make it a D6. I, on average, want all of their spells to be stronger than a normal class of spells, because you have to spend hit points in order to do it. So I'm just gonna make this do a D4 plus 1, actually. You take plus 1 damage from all attacks. Creatures that damage you in close range take 1d6 damage. So, like, if they're far away, if it's like skeletons shooting you with a bow, you're just gonna be screwed because you're just taking an additional damage from all their attacks. I'm not sure if it's good to have a standard of damage per spell tier. I want it to be random. Sock suggested that I make it 1 plus the spell's tier damage that you take, but I want what's it called? I want it to be random, so like you don't know how much damage you're gonna take, but you know, like, oh, I could take up to 5 damage from this when I cast it, so I have to be careful. Also, like, one thing I kind of want to do with this is I want to make it heal multiple die worth of healing instead of plus half your level rounded down. Like, it just heals 1d8 plus an additional die. Isn't that what Cure Wounds does? I thought Cure Wounds was an additional die. Let me find Cure Wounds again. Wait, Cure Wounds. Roll a number of d6s. Okay, yeah. Wait. Restore a number of d8s. Plus half your level rounded down. HP to a creature within range. Oh, I meant like I have a lot of spells that have different effects but deal the same amount of dice. No, I'm talking about the hit point cost that you have to take damage to cast all of these spells. I was thinking certain spells cost a different amount of hit points, but if I'm gonna end up just making everything at a certain tier cost a certain amount of hit points, wait a minute, you restore a number of d8s. Equal to half your level rounded down HP to a creature within range. Let me see that. I'm being all I can be. You could just make a little note by the new list that denotes the self-damage. Like tier 1, 1d4. Yeah, that's the conundrum I'm having. Do I want to make it so that it's just the same flat damage for all spells, or do I want to make each spell cost a different amount of hit points worth of damage? Yeah, that's what I might end up doing, that just for the sake of brevity to save spell description room. Tier 1. Let me. Penitent spells. Spell casting cannot reduce you below 1 HP unless you fail the spell casting check. The HP of your the HP cost of your spell reduces you to 0. I think I should put under here a tiny table that has like the amount of HP that each tier costs. Just also wanting to make sure that this is balanced as well. Restore a number of d8s equal to... What if I did... restore HP equal to 1d8 times HP lost from casting this spell. So it could be a d8 times up to 5. Or it could be a d8 times 1, which would be kind of shitty if you cast that. That would feel kind of bad, wouldn't it? But that's the price you gotta pay. It's a minimum of 2, so it'd be a d8 times 2 up to a d8 times 5. What would be the maximum hit points that it could heal? Let me see. 8 times 5 would be 40. Which is a ton. Or it could be 8 times 1. We'll do that. I think that's actually flavorful, because you're taking damage in order to cast this. Restore HP equal to 1d8. Cast this spell. to a target other than you. To a target in range other than you. Other than you. There we go. Okay. Das is good. Okay, we'll come back to that if I need to. I hear them in my head screaming, that's not balanced. I hear them. They're saying that's a tier 1 spell and you can heal 40 hit points at level 1. That's broken. I hear all of the chuds from the Shadowdark server yelling at me in the back of my head. But I don't care. At least not yet. I probably will later, but not at this current moment. Okay. You take 1 damage from all attacks. Creatures that damage you in close range take 1d6 damage. This class is kind of a glass cannon too, so I think it's okay to do a lot of damage, so take suffering. Orbs. What's this other one? Castigate. Okay. Whoa, where am I going? Castigate. I think these are usually alphabetized as well, so I'll have to alphabetically order these. Ah, yes, now let us see here. What is the final spell that we must make? I was today years old when I realized scaling refers to actual scales, which determines things via balancing the scales. I apparently was today years old too, because I did not know that. Turn undead. Command, charm person, burning hands, bless. Oh, that would be a good idea, to let them burn HP to give somebody a luck token. Or give somebody else and yourself a luck token, because you're burning HP to do that, so maybe that'll be a good one. Now the name, I'm not sure what I should do. Lambient. What does lambient mean? Search. Of light or fire, glowing, gleaming, or flickering with a soft radiance. Lambient. Gift of blood, maybe? Like, gift... It would be kind of funny to do spells that hurt your allies, but also give you both, like, bless tokens or something. Haha, that blows my mind, because scaling in games has just been a term that I've known and never thought about. I just thought it meant, like, you're scaling, like, you're making it bigger. That's always what I thought. Like, the scale is increasing. So that's interesting. Pain for your sins. Some grim dark but holy words. Sense for spell names. What are some good words that make vow of benediction? What does benediction mean? A blessing Okay, wait a minute. That could work. Something benediction. That's what I need to call this. Something benediction. Benediction. Merciless benediction? No, because it doesn't make sense. Ah, snap! That works too. Double meanings for the win. What was the concept for this spell? Also, how many are you doing per tier? I'm doing 6 per tier right now. This is a spell that's going to give you and your ally a bless token, but at the extent of your HP pool. Together we suffer. Benediction. Something, it's got to be something benediction, because I like that word. Benediction. I don't know, like painful benediction. I want like esoteric words though that people will go, whoa, that sounds cool. We'll look up other words for pain. Pain, stinging benediction, throbbing. Well, throbbing's not gonna work for this, so suffering benediction. Self-harm. Like self-harm. Are there like words that could fit with that? Like harm, harmful, damaging, dangerous, detrimental, hurtful, how do you say this word? Pernicious. Causing much harm in a subtle way, sinister or evil in nature. Okay, no, it's not that. Part of me wishes I had done 6 per tier, but the challenge has been fun. Yeah, I was gonna make it 4 per tier, like the seer class does, but I decided to go with 6 instead. If I'm like struggling to come up with spells, I'm probably gonna make it 4 per tier. But each spell will be like equally good, no matter like the level. I need like words for like you're taking damage. Vicious. ChatGPT, give me words for taking damage. Give me words for taking damage, like wounding, suffering, something. ACT. Lacerate, rend, bleed, scourge, flay, rive, sear, pierce. No, that's not gonna work. Agony, wound, torment, scourge, suffering, pain, injury, affliction. 4 is weak sauce unless it's 4 columns of text. Well, it depends on how you make the spells. Like, it's also a lot less work and a lot less of a headache. It's less variety, but like take suffering, the way this spell works, technically speaking, like this will be good even if you're like level 10, but it's still a tier 1 spell. It scales, it's more swingy than the cleric's spell or the priest's spell, which is kind of what I want. Which is Q. Maybe I should make the die increase. The denomination of this die increases based on your level. Restore HP equal to... I do have an idea. I don't want to spend too much time on that one spell, though. I'm starting to get so fucking hungry, dude. I'm starting to get that feeling like I'm going to get real weak here in a minute. Because I think I have, what the hell's that called? It's not diabetes, but something that is like diabetes. I can't remember the name of it. I can never remember the name of it, but I think I have it because I start getting like really weak if I don't eat. I was gonna make it do 1d4, 1d6, 1d8, 1d10, and it'll scale like the healing spell. Or like the healing potion. So 0 to 3, it's 1d6. 4 to 6, it's a d8. 7 to 9, it's a d10. And then like maybe at 10th level, it's a d12. Although that's like kind of crazy because you could restore like well over 100 hit points. Because you could get 12 times 5, which would be an insanely high amount of hit points, so that may be too much. And 10 times 5 would be 50. Well, maybe that's not that bad, actually. This isn't just for the Vermis setting. This is for, like, I want this to be balanced for normal play, too. So, like, the idea is, like, I'm making it so that, you know, it's high risk, but high reward also. That's the challenge here. Through pain you grant renewal. Okay, let me look at this really quickly. Hold on. Okay. Grant renewal. Let me try this. Restore HP equal to a die determined by your level times HP lost from casting this spell. And then we go like this. We go bold level. It'll be 0 to 3. 0 to 3. It's 1d6. Oh, level 4 to 6 is 1d8. Level 7 to 9 is 1d10. And then level 10 plus, we'll say, is 1d12. I keep forgetting I have to mention this cannot heal you. This has to heal somebody else other than you. Okay, restore HP to a target other than you within range equal to a die determined by your level times the HP lost from casting this spell. Something like that. That might be too much. It might need to just stay a D8, but we'll see. I have a feeling people will say it should just stay a D8. If you want to set people off, you should make it spendable to multiple targets. No, I don't want to make it AoE because then that's like too strong. I actually want this to be balanced too myself. I just want it to be strong. This will kind of be like the one healing spell. Or I could say the HP lost times an amount equal to your level. So if you lost 5 times 10, 5 times 1 would only be 5 though. But then you go up to level 2, and that could go up to 10. 5 times 3. I don't know. There's so many different ways I can do this. Restore HP to a target other than you within range. Maybe equal to the HP lost times your class level. So it's a d4 plus 1, so it's a minimum of 2, maximum of... What, is that even worth casting at level 1? You could heal up to 5 hit points at level 1. It scales really hard, kinda. It's very swingy. It's somewhat unreliable, versus the priest's healing spell is reliable. It's more reliable anyways. Restore HP to another creature in range. Yeah, that's probably better. To another within range equal to the HP lost from casting this spell times your class level. Better name. I don't like that name too much. This spell times your class level. Give me a better name for this. Give me a list. Need some better ideas for a name. Grace through agony, the suffering pack, take suffering. You have a number 2 crown. Top fans. We have top fans now? Wow. That's gonna be nutty. Okay, I think once I finish this last spell, I might end up ending the stream because I'm starting to feel a little sicky poo. Not sick, but I'm starting to feel really shaky because I need to eat something. I'm gonna die on stream. That would be a good idea. Duration, instant, range. This will be touch. Or close, I guess. Are there any spells that have touch as a range? Or is it close, usually? Self. There's range self. I think it's just close. Okay, yeah, it's close. Okay, description. HP cost 1d4 plus 1. Agony grants great boons. Your agony grants great boons. You and one ally you touch gain a luck token. That might actually have to be a level 2 spell, because getting luck tokens at level 1 might be a little OP, I just realized. I think priests get that, or yeah, priests get that at level 2. Uh-oh. Interesting. I don't know how. I mean, I guess that's probably OP. Luck tokens at level 1. 'Cause luck tokens are really strong. Maybe we'll make this a tier 2. We'll go down. We'll make this a tier 2 because that's like a. I don't want to give luck tokens out at tier 1. Although, wait, can the seer do that? Magic, seer spells. Trance. One humanoid creature you touch gains a luck token. It can't have more than one luck token at once. Oh, okay, yeah, wait a minute. The seer can do it, then he can do it also. Screw that. Okay, your agony grants great boons. You and one ally you touch gain a luck token. You both cannot have more than one luck token at once. Based. Four spells that'll probably all get absolutely torn apart if I post them on the Shadowdark Discord by a bunch of grognards that hate anything that's not simple basic shit, because that's how it be sometimes. They pick out every little detail that is screwed up, I guess. Okay, I unfortunately think that's gonna end up having to be it for me, because I'm starting to feel a little woozy, because I haven't eaten anything really today other than 2 toaster strudels, so I'm starting to get like shaky a little bit, and I feel really weak and lightheaded. But be on the lookout for this class. I do want to continue working on this. Castigate. I gotta lower the size of these. Okay, painful benediction. You hope I still work on these on stream. I mean, it is fun. I need to do these on stream when there's a lot more people talking too, because people can give me ideas and it'll be kind of fun. Maybe some ideas. Those guys are weird. Which guys? The Shadowdark guys or the art for the class? I think my blood sugar is like fucking low or something. Kelsey didn't make this. It must be bad. Well, there's, I think a lot of them do kind of have that mindset, but there is sometimes, like, good advice that they do give. Like, they can pick out things that, like, I missed, because they did do that with me last time. Why is this lagging like that? Somebody order me some food before I die. I'll be in the Discord if you want to bounce ideas off me. Yeah, I might jump in the Discord after. I need to go eat something though before I pass out. I thought I ate earlier. I guess I didn't eat anything today. Okay, everybody. That's gonna be it for me. I'm gonna die on stream if I continue, so I'm gonna end the stream and then we'll pick this up sometime in the future, probably. You feel me? I feel so bad right now. Hopefully I can like not pass out and when I stand up. I feel like so shitty right now. Okay. DM Dungeon Mastery signing out. I'm not saying goodnight. I'm just saying. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.